The fourth commandment, Exodus chapter 20, verses 8 to 11. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. This is another commandment that's not too difficult to comprehend from the scriptures, even it being the King James Version. Another cross-reference is made in other portions of scripture throughout the Bible, which we'll leave for another day, making reference to the Sabbath day being the assembling of the saints. And the scriptures read, neglect not the assembling of the saints. So that's a further elaboration upon keeping the Sabbath day holy. It means you basically got to attend church on a Sunday. There is a dispute as to whether the Sabbath day is a Saturday and the Sunday. We'll leave that for another day as well. But basically, one day in the week is supposed to be dedicated as your Sabbath day. The day that you neglect not the assembling of the saints, the day that you keep holy unto the Lord. It's a day of worship, a day of remembrance. As it says here, nobody even in your household, not even the animals, are allowed to work. Nor your guests that visit at your house are they even allowed to work. In 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and the seventh day he rested. So right throughout all of humanity, nobody can accomplish anything quite, even a fraction of what God did when he created all of creation. And he accomplished this in 6 days. So when he rested on the seventh day, he is saying that if he can accomplish that in 6 days and keep the seventh day, and you can do the same. There's numerous testimonies of things like this. People often dispute it and say, I'd like to work 7 days and my work ethic is there. An example would be Chick-fil-A, which very popular food outlet. It closes its doors on a Sunday because of this very commandment. And from what we hear, they are one of the biggest companies in the world and do phenomenally well, yet they work 1 day less in the week, perform a lot better than most of their competitors. So this is the definition of the fourth commandment, being keeping it holy. If we had to define holiness, it's a dedication or consecration to God for religious purpose, a day that's kept sacred, devoted to the service of God. On this day, you are to be morally and spiritually excellent, used in exclamations of praise and worship. This is obviously the proceedings carried out within a church service, and that would classify as holiness. Keeping the Sabbath day holy also means resting on that day. So when it is concluded, no work is to be done. It's a day of rest, rejuvenation. It's a day that you would recharge and enable yourself to reflect and allow God to speak to you for the week to come ahead. This is the fourth commandment.